writer for the Daily Writer, which is a site started by Ben Shapiro, had made this book that's entitled Reasons to Vote for Democrats, a Comprehensive Guide. And then it's a book of like, it'll tell you how many pages it is, but it's 266 pages that are fully blank. So it's a funny joke and all, but I'm going to explain to you guys one of the biggest ironies of these guys, and you guys are going to figure it out. So first of all, let's see. So Reasons to Vote for Democrats tops Amazon bestseller list. So this book, full of blank fucking pages with nothing on it, is the bestseller. Now, who does that symbolize? Okay, I'm going to get into that, but here's what they say. So they say, Reasons to Vote for Democrats, a comprehensive guide, contains no words other than the page headings and a bibliography. You can go cover to cover in about 15-20 seconds. Author Michael Knowles, a conservative journalist, told Fox News. Beyonce is being put to shame. I'm sorry. Okay, the viral popularity of Mr. Now's $8 paperback page-turner follows days of publicity in conservative media. It took a very long time to research this book. When I observed their record and reasons to vote for them, on reasons of economics or foreign policy or of homeland security or civil rights and so on, I realized it was probably best to just leave all the pages blank. Among the more than 1,200 mostly sarcastic reviews on Amazon, one purchaser noted, if Democrats copied and pasted the contents of the book into their national platform, they could become unstoppable. Another wrote that even my 2-year-old can now understand the benefits of liberalism. The self-published work follows a similar on the opposite end of the political spectrum. So, and then the Democrats responded by making a book called Reasons to Vote for Republicans, and it's basically the same shit. So it's a funny joke for the Republicans, but and apparently the Democrat one didn't really sell well, and they're calling it a fail and saying, oh, it epically failed. The Democrat book epically failed. I'm going to tell you guys why it's not an epic fail and why it's super symbolic, okay? So let's get this straight. These jackoffs from the Daily Wire have a book made of fully empty pages that's cost $8 and it's a bestseller on Amazon. Who does that speak volumes about? Idiots are throwing $8 into buying this book, okay? Into buying a book full of empty fucking pages. People have bought this in massive numbers because it's at Amazon. It's on top of the Amazon bestseller list. So obviously, no idiot's gonna buy a book full of fucking empty pages because they're not retarded, and that's why the Democrat book didn't do good, because they have two brain cells to rub together. Hey, this looks like just like a little joke and a facade and like something that's supposed to be funny, and like although the title may have given me like a little giggle or whatever, it's not worth it for me to spend $8 on this piece of shit that literally has no pages in it. So this whole thing is so stupid because Republicans who claim to be the party of intellect or whatever has their constituency lining up to buy books with no fucking words in it. Who's the stupid ones? Who's the fails? Who are the idiots? Who are the dumb ones? It's clearly the Republicans. It's not even close. But I decided to go ahead and do a job for you. I have some reasons here for you guys. Okay, so here's a quote from PolitiFact. In 2015, PolitiFact ruled mostly true claims from Hillary Clinton, a claim that under Republicans, recessions happen 4 times as frequently under Democrats. So there you go. Republicans, recessions happen 4 times as frequently under Republicans as they do under Democrats. So I would guess that would be a reason to vote for a Democrat, right? Okay, another one. And another that, quote, the stock market does better when you have a Democratic president in the White House. Again, this was confirmed by PolitiFact. Again, another one. At the 2012 Democratic National Convention, former President Bill Clinton had this statement rated true. Remember, true. Since 1961, our private economy has produced 66 million private sector jobs. So what's the job score? Republicans, 24 million. Democrats, 42 million. Dude, that's a burn right there. I thought that private sector jobs is the private business. It's everything privatized. Isn't that what Republicans are supposed to feed off? Isn't that what they're supposed to be fed off of? Isn't that their whole motive, their whole everything? That's what I thought it was. But Democrats are doing it much, much better. What's up with that? That's almost double what you're doing. What's going on, Republicans? I think so. If you want to have a higher likelihood of having a job, you should probably vote for a Democrat. Okay, another one. Democrat Bill Clinton was president in 1998 when the government finally recorded a surplus. Bill Clinton is the last president to record a surplus. He's the last president. He was a Democratic president. Tell me when the last Republican was. I think it was Dwight D. Eisenhower who had marginal tax rates at 99%. So don't tell me you're fiscal conservatives, because clearly you can't balance a budget for shit. So if you want a balanced budget and a government that is able to do things more freely and use more because they can balance their budget, you should probably vote for a Republican. Or if you're a fiscal conservative and you're all about the budget, vote for a Democrat, dude. And I'm going to explain to you why. Okay, there also were budget surpluses in 1999, 2000, and in 2001. 2001 was the last year the Clinton administration proposed the budget. These are all facts, okay? Again, Republican George W. Bush succeeded Clinton in 2001. The United States had a budget deficit in 2002, and it has recorded budget deficits every year since. Every year since. They go on. The deficit is projected to increase substantially this year under President Barack Obama. And this is kind of a little background on what Obama did. Here we go. Obama came into office with a $1.3 trillion deficit before I had passed any law. We came in with $8 trillion worth of debt over the next decade. Now, this was but it was decided to be mostly true by PolitiFact. The only caveat being that it wasn't $8 trillion, it was a different figure, because the way he had figured it was that it would be based on George Bush's policy, which was the tax cuts, the trickle-down bullshit that Republicans use that doesn't fucking work. So again, if you want a better economy that has more jobs and it has more functionality and more flexibility, you should probably vote for a fucking Democrat. So here's what they say. They say, quote, I should already said that. Okay, another thing. Democrats want to make sure that health insurance companies cannot discriminate based upon pre-existing conditions, and to make sure that you can stay on your parents' health care plan until you are 2016. Key provisions in the legislation known as the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. So, the Democrats had signed in the Affordable Care Act, which makes sure that, because before it was an estimated 25,000 of 45,000 died because they lacked access to basic fucking health care. So what Democrats did is they said, hey, we're going to pass legislation so that these health insurance companies can't discriminate based on pre-existing conditions, so they can't simply go through your records and look to find something and then say, hey, we're not paying for it, you got to pay out of pocket now, bitch. And also, so that college kids and other people who are older who are trying to get an education don't have to be in risk of, getting massively ill and things like that. They're allowed to be on their parents' healthcare insurance plan until 26, so they have a longer time to get their education when they have massive college debt, which Republicans love. Okay, again, Republicans unanimously opposed Obamacare and have attempted to repeal over 60 times. The only reason the new Affordable Health Care Act, also known as Trump Care, has these key provisions is because they do not want to lose re-elections in upcoming election cycles. They wouldn't have any of that shit if they weren't worried about winning elections, because they're already worried with Trump's approval being so fucking low. Here we go. Republican senators blocked Democratic legislation on Thursday that sought to provide medical care to rescue workers and others who became ill as a result of breathing in toxic fumes, dust, and smoke at the site of the World Trade Center attack in 2001. So, the Republicans who claim to scream all about 9/11, justifying every foreign policy position, every weapon position they've ever had in their life, and screams about it all the time, takes opportunistically tweets about it every 9/11, they don't give a fuck about the victims of 9/11. They don't give a fuck about the people. It's all a political game, okay? The Democrats were trying to pass legislation, it's called the Zajoga Act, to close a tax loophole to pay for 9/11 first responders' health care, because they had got all these terrible conditions, inhaling all this disgusting smoke and getting things like cancers, and they couldn't afford it because they couldn't get health care. It was so fucking expensive. So Jon Stewart had to go out and campaign to get it, and it was a Democrat that was leading the charge, and it was the Democrats who had voted for it. It was mostly voted along party lines, and it took tons of time, tons of shaming to finally get this shit passed. They had blocked it in the Senate, and they had blocked it by filibustering that bitch. So these fuckers, Republicans, don't care. So if you actually care about the people, 9/11 victims, and if you actually care about the heroes, the real heroes of 9/11, the hero of 9/11 is not George W. Bush, it's not Dick Cheney, okay? It's not Halliburton. The real 9/11 heroes are the first responders. If you give a shit about the 9/11 first responders and the heroes of 9/11, you know who you should vote for? Probably a Democrat, because Republicans don't seem to give a shit. Okay. Again, let's see here. So they say the 9/11 health bill, a version of which was approved by the House of Representatives in September, was among several initiatives that Senate Democrats had hoped to approve before the close of the 111th Congress. Supporters believe this was their last real opportunity to have the bill passed. In a vote largely along party lines, the Senate rejected a procedural move by Democrats to end debate on the 9/11 health bill and try to bring it to a vote. 60 yes votes were needed, but the move received 57 with 42 votes against. Dirty fucking Republicans. Fucking lying and trying to trick and manipulate your constituency. Okay, here we go. Another one. Social issues. Democratic leader Barack Obama appointed Supreme Court justices and viciously and vehemently supported gay marriage and allowed gay marriage and promised marriage equality with the Supreme Court case, which he had appointed justices that were pro gay marriage equality. And if you're not, something's either wrong with you or you're just a fucking dick. I don't know. But that's another one too. If you're any type of minority and you feel that you're right, you don't really have equality, like for them, like, yeah, you probably should vote for a Democrat, you know? Like, okay. Another one here. Let's see. So, common sense gun reform and gun protections. So here's one. Senate Republicans rejected a bill that aims to stop suspected terrorists from legally buying guns on Thursday. The vote came a day after at least 14 were killed during the San Bernardino massacre in California by two suspects, including a woman said to have pledged allegiance to ISIS. Okay, this is fucking crazy. So, after the San Bernardino attack, they tried to make legislation that stops terrorists from buying guns. So why did the Republicans vote against it? So here's what I'm going to say. If you really want to stop the dangers of terrorists, you should probably vote for Democrats, because it seems like they're the ones trying to make sure that they don't get the firearms to fucking kill you. So that probably seems like a good reason to vote for a Democrat instead of a Republican, doesn't it? Very interesting. Seems to be a lot of reasons. I mean, we got economy here. We have social justice reform. We're coming up on foreign policy now. We have legitimacy and not contradictory. And we have principledness, and we have real, just in general, helping people and morality and legitimately representing the American people. But anyway, so last one here, because I don't have all day to do this. This would be a very long list, by the way, so I was only able to come up with these in the past 10 minutes. So all the time I had. But here's another one. Although Obama did continue us in the war in Iraq, he definitely didn't lie us into war by making up CIA unnamed sources that said that Saddam had WMDs that we were never able to find, which he didn't have anyways. That wasn't the real reason for it. It was obviously, Halliburton makes $39.2 million. He was Dick Cheney was the former CEO. How coincidental. Oh my God. But anyway, so Barack Obama didn't lie us into a war that led to over 4,000 U.S. soldiers dead and over 100,000 Iraqi civilians dead, which, by the way, there are estimates by groups that say more than a million, because of all the displacement and lack of health care and all this other stuff that you can look into personally. Do your own research. And the formation of ISIS resulting from a power vacuum, George W. Bush did, who was supposed to be a fiscal conservative and a token conservative for Republicans. So, how many things do we have here? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of reasons to vote for a Democrat. You could make a 10-hour long video, I think, on why you should vote for a Democrat instead of a Republican. We got economy, we have healthcare reform and morality and representing the people. We got social issues and justice and equality. We have foreign policy and all these different types of things. Legitimate common sense gun control, and not just representing the NRA because they give you more money than the American people do. So Republicans can fuck off. You guys are idiots. Your policy has never worked. Your trickle-down garbage has never worked. And you guys are fucking idiots.